Bring that live, and I was. They made me do live cups. I was. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan.
I'm jury mode. Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is not just the first none.
Did you get a nice cooler Friday?
Yes. 45 before. Wow. Okay, get one over here. This time.
I'm just gonna have to run a refrigerator.
Yeah. So I was thinking.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call meeting to order with everyone present. As a reminder, the meeting is being recorded. If you choose not to be recorded, you have the option of leaving. First item on the agenda this morning, Michael Kueny, our county engineer.
Morning.
It's all yours, Mike.
Go through a couple of things here.
The book today.
Oh, it's because I didn't print both sides. I printed it once and then, then the next time you print it, you expect the same thing, but it didn't happen. We're gonna put the paper away. Yeah, so just go through a couple of things and then, I got a couple of things that I didn't get into the agenda that I go through here. Winneshiek County is a finalist for the build grant. There's nothing new this week. Railroad flat car bridge study coordination is occurring this week. The study is going to be done today on bridges 319 and bridge 377. I'll be out there a little bit today. So that happened in the middle of the week last week for the coordination. Subdivision data gathered, nothing new this week. Quarry Hill Road, I have not discussed with Brunings nor the city this week. Neste Valley construction is ongoing. Final shaping of the earthwork is supposed to be done today, and then coordination with the Conservation Department for final seeding should be occurring. Don't know when that's going to happen, so that's a good thing to get finished. Town line culvert repair was finished this week. Culvert work on A14 east of Hesper. They should be out there working today. Asphalt patchwork over B32 is finished. We are trying to work with Aztec and get the Odyssey done this year. That's still the goal. Permazyme base stabilization was installed on Town Line Road and Whitetail Road 2 weeks ago. We're just going to be monitoring that throughout the winter and make sure it holds up. But so far, we're not seeing any washboarding or anything else going on. So small successes.
Did it get a little wet on part of that?
We did close Whitetail Road and because it started to show signs of what it did right after we installed Whitetail. I put the road closed signs up, but it hardened up pretty quick thereafter that quick hitter.
Did they get that culvert down on Town Line?
They did get that culvert road on Town Line, and
How did you pull that off?
that wasn't me. I'm going to just put that on the superintendent and our bridge crew. They tied it up, put some concrete over the joint, and put some rock on it. It's
Life expectancy of the railroad ties.
yeah, it's that was their doing, and I'm sure it's better off it now than it was before, so hopefully we get another 50 years out of it, but. Bridge 307 is shaping up to be let in December of 2025. NEPA clearance has been completed and the right of way, we have reached agreements on the right of way. Bridge 208 curtain walls and other foundation pieces have been poured. The boxes will be constructed at a higher elevation as the existing abutment foundations are very large and difficult to remove. We're trying to limit the amount of excavation around there for tribal reasons. Bridge 126 NEPA clearances have been completed and will likely be let in December. Right away on this project still needs to be acquired. Frankville Road letting will likely follow Bridge 126. Nothing new on that. Sign grant, I have to give a shout out to the sign man and to our administrative staff. That has been completed. The 86 signs were put up in coordination with the NRCS. A report has been submitted and it was approved. Reimbursement is forthcoming, so almost $10,000 on that. Annual report has been submitted to the DOT. We have some accounting or administrative efforts to update the report per DOT request. And it was Friday of, not this past week, but it was the Friday before. So I had some weird wording on that. One of the things that didn't get put on the agenda, my failure, was to put the ice control rock, the 2,000 tons. I've been mentioning it, so just want the board's blessing to move forward with, since we have a single bidder. Generally it's $15.14 per ton. That's what the bid came in this morning. And we are at $15.37 for a typical haul price on rock. So came in less. We were happy to see that.
What were they last year?
For the ice control, it would have been something like $14.99. I'm going off of memory, so don't quote me on that, but that's.
I think you're pretty close.
1% increase.
So yeah, we were mildly pleased with that one. So I guess just board blessing to just award this to Brunings. Okay, and then
They're gonna get another bid.
You want a motion on that, Ben?
Yeah, probably.
I move to approve the ice rock bid.
Second. The motion is second, ice control rock bid. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
And then the last thing on the report here is the fuel bids. Were sent out a couple of weeks ago and are due back on September 26th. So that's the report, and then we're trying to get Bridge 307 paperwork done. And I was asked on Friday if I could get a signature from the board supervisors on our cover sheet. So I can pass that to you. I think I have purple pen.
Offsetting ink.
So I have a purple pen.
Matter which one.
I don't think so. 2,000 tons. Yeah. We've reduced the amount of ice control rock since we had a lot left over last year. And then the resolution that did get put on the agenda, we had two things where we were gonna name the Neste Valley Road. And then requesting a stop sign be put up from Neste Valley Road turning onto Town Line Road there, so. That's the resolution that I worked out with the Conservation Department and with Andy, so.
I would move to approve the resolution naming Neste Valley Road and stop sign request will be in here.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the resolution naming Neste Valley Road and for the addition of a stop sign on that road.
Aye.
Mark, Shirley,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Steve. I myself, passes unanimously. So they're finishing that, all the gravel up today, is that what they're,
Gravel on
and Neste,
Neste, it's just, or they have all the gravel done. as far as I know.
it's just some dirt.
Just dirt, and if they're doing gravel, they're just making it smoother. So. Smooth rock. That is the report.
And that has been seated down or will be seated down with.
The road has been seeded. The campsite is gonna be seeded by the Conservation Department. So I'll have to monitor that and work on the stormwater portion of that, so.
Good job.
It's been a little bit hairy, to be honest. So,
Progress, that's good.
so I have anything else for me?
I have nothing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. A lot of things are. So that's good.
I want to thank your crew for working on the Neste Valley Road. That saved the county a lot of money rather than hiring a private contractor to do it.
Yeah, I think our costs will come in pretty close to what we had originally anticipated, so
Thank
that really helped out, so.
And by everybody that contributed equipment to it.
Yeah, there's
I mean, we had some breakdowns. in between
had
there.
plenty of breakdowns on that, and then plenty of rain to have to kind of redo work, so.
Does the experience of that seem like that will impact next year as far as projects that you may take on rather than contract?
In what regard?
Seeing the capacity of the crew in that environment instead of their normal routines, you think that might impact some of our planned small construction
For
projects?
us to take on some of the.
Yeah.
Well, Neste Valley was different in almost every regard. That's a site work project, not a road construction project, and we're very fortunate to have one of our foremen who's done plenty of site work. I don't anticipate doing a lot of site work minus, I mean, maybe something on Locust a little bit if we ever do Locust Shop, but that's not dealing with Conservation Department, so. I mean, one of the things in this annual report DOT review, they don't really like us doing, going funds between different departments, so that I'm gonna avoid that in the future. It's more administrative, that reasons why I wouldn't do that, but I just don't foresee, everything about Neste was special. So I just don't see that happening next year or anytime in the future. So that answers your question a little bit. I'd rather donate time and energy towards, the space stabilization. I think that was, looking at the preliminary cost out of the fund. And hoping for a good outcome over the next couple of years.
It's gonna be interesting to see
see
how
how
that
So,
works.
yeah, that's where my head is at currently.
Do you think that the the B-32 Odyssey is maybe a 50-50 at best. Have they got time in their schedule because we've had to reshuffle it or?
It's really hard to say since I'm having my techs who they've worked with in the past. I don't have that feel for that discussion. I haven't had that color. I operate through my techs and so I don't think it's 50-50. I think we would lean towards having them do that. And when we originally bid this, they were ready to go in the next couple of days. So this is a big outfit and we might still be able to get this done.
What do you think the cutoff date would be?
I'd have to look at the weather. I'd have to look at the long-term weather. I know that when I looked at the weather last week, we were looking at October having not warm weather, but dry weather and it wasn't getting into the 30s at all. So I'm still holding out hope on that end. So
I don't know, for us.
yeah.
Okay, you don't have anything else we want?
No.
Thank
Should be
you.
good. Thank you, Michael. A few minutes, we can go through the claims before we approve the consent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 some hundred. It's almost 1,000.
There were 35.
Pretty, that's their. The homes, I think, they'll be paying. Taking on more maintenance.
What else do we have on the consent items?
Yeah, claims and recorder's monthly report.
Would it be possible to have these sent electronically before the meeting? Just
So we just got this done when he brought these down.
in the future, just a.
If we made
So much.
departments, to stop as many claims earlier, then maybe, but then you just push off paying our bills, so.
The county uses so much paper for everything.
City paving adds up.
Yeah, it does. No.
Okay.
Conservation must have got two. Started the pilot.
We start.
Use your return.
They have two. Yeah. One here.
Would anyone move? Move the consent.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next up on the agenda is a miscellaneous item. Mark Falvey requested that we put this back on the agenda for today, discuss back on funding for the city of Decorah Sports Complex.
After the last meeting, happened to be having a conversation. Was wondering if there was a breakdown of support for the complex financially. So, got to thinking, where is the support coming from that they know of for this project? I think it's important, just like we were dealing with any other municipality in the county, that we try to help them get the funds they need. And so by us not financially supporting this project is blocking them from potentially getting a grant. And I think we owe it to all the municipalities. They're in a situation where they're trying to have to try to do what we can to support that. So this sheet does break down on the top where the contributions are coming from city, rural, business, number of city donors, number of county donors. And if you look at that, it's not just the city of Decorah that is supporting this complex. And as like the emails I have received, so many of them are from people outside of the city saying they support this project. We talked about, amongst several of us have talked about, what if we did this? What would that mean for other municipalities if they had projects they wanted to have supported? And so this does break that down. If we were to give $25,000, how much would go to each of the different municipalities if they had a project they wanted to move forward with or have matching money to get with that. So it's a way of treating everybody fairly in the county. And like I said, this isn't just a Decorah thing. This is a county thing that brings money in. How can we get more money for roads? By more sales tax, more different things. The money we would spend on this can't go to roads, can't go to bridges, can't go to gravel.
Yeah, it can go to infrastructure.
It can go to
It can
infrastructure.
go to infrastructure. General fund can go to infrastructure.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think,
Yeah, that question.
it's not gonna go to, we owe it to the city of Decorah to try to help them get a grant, in my mind. And obviously, my district is predominantly Decorah, so I have a bias to that in one respect, but the emails we've received they're not just Decorah people, it's mainly people outside of Decorah. So I know Steve has mentioned Bill's trying to get a park going. Here's an opportunity for that. I know Stephanie down at Development would be happy to help move that project forward. I'm sure the other cities have projects they would like to do, so.
So the understanding would be that if we were to give, just look at the $100,000 column for a minute. That's divided per capita to each of these 8 cities within the county. And then that city, like Austin, under $100,000, we get 7,800. Then Austin could put that money in a, set it aside so that when you do a park rec program, that could be used as grant funding, match dollars. Is
Well,
that
it could be,
idea
if they
here?
have a project, they can access it, but if they don't, they wouldn't necessarily receive that.
We're pretty good at fundraising on our own. Like in the $25,000 column, that's 1,965 per auction. We can raise that overnight.
Great for you.
I mean, that's just because we're that close knit
So
community.
the part of this is that the grant requires or would like
Yeah.
to see county participation. It doesn't, yes, they could raise this money overnight too, but to get the grant, you need to have this contribution.
I think
I have
it'd
a
be-
question
go ahead.
for Stephanie, if you would know on this.
Yeah.
If we were to pledge money out of next year's budget, would that show,
Go on.
would that show as a contribution to apply for the CAT grant?
Pledged it. Yeah, you don't actually have to cut a check today or anything like that. It would just be, you would be planning to in the future. So,
That's would at least allow us to plan ahead a little bit and put it in a budget, because right now we don't know. where
Yep.
we're at.
yeah, I don't think anyone expects anyone to cut a check today or even this fiscal year. It could be included in next year's budget. But at least it would be in writing. We'd probably just need like a letter or something stating that you plan to do whatever amount, and then we would include it in the CAT application.
I have Travis and I put together this resolution, not knowing exactly, we left the dollar amount blank and left it worded to split it up over 3 years. I guess it doesn't stipulate which 3 years, so.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have to do it that way. We just have to change the resolution so that they have a paper to submit with the application.
Yeah, the CAT is pretty specific. You have to have documentation for every pledge. I mean, our sunflower application, when we submitted it, we planted a couple of trees in honor of the amount of paper that we printed out. It was like 270 pages long.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so we actually helped put this one pager together. So just the top portion, like Mark said, it does break down the amount of pledges that have already been secured towards the project from rural and city folks, and then businesses obviously too. And then we just quantified that the number of donors, which I thought was interesting. And then the bottom half was just ideas that were brought up by all of you of, well, if we earmark a certain amount, what could be contributed to other cities. And in my mind, I'd love to see it earmarked as matching funds for grants, because there are grants available for city parks and different projects. I know Fort is working on raising some money for a playground, and this could be earmarked towards match dollars. And we would be happy to help with grants and projects in those communities to help them put a plan together and sort of attack it piece by piece. But at least these would be earmarked. They could come in, request the number, whatever the amount is, and then we could help pursue a grant for it. These programs are available through the state. There are federal programs too that we've applied for in the past for various projects, but these are monies that are going to communities elsewhere in Iowa, and it would be it'd be sad if we missed the opportunity, because we do have a project that does qualify. And so that's a $500,000 grant that would be left on the table.
Does the application for this CAT grant have to be put in before the project
starts.
It does, yeah.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up again this week, because they need to get going with that, so.
Interesting.
So then my question is, if there was a determination of a pledge of any amount, and if this chart of apportionment was used and for fiscal 27, could that be held in a reserve account for any of those towns, but not as a disbursement until they went through the process of, so there's no disbursement until there's
The
approval,
project, yeah.
and it could be spread over fiscal year 27, 8, and 9, and a 3-year, so there's a daylight only for 3 years. And after that, it reverts back to the general fund. Yep, that's a possibility.
It's a possibility, yep.
Just think it'd be a really good opportunity for somebody, and it is easy to fundraise, I agree. It's easy to go out and start asking and knocking on doors, it is. But to be able to apply for a state grant, it does earn us points in favor of multiple projects. I mean, at multiple levels, Walmart grants, Depot grant. I mean, to have those matching funds that they don't have to go out and raise privately to show that the public offices support the projects is good.
It's kind of a domino effect in a positive way.
Yeah.
That money just keeps growing and used as match.
And we talk about how we want to support these small communities, especially the outlying ones, so that people want to come and live and keep them.
But it costs them just as much to put up a ball diamond as opposed to Decorah. I mean, that's a simple fact. I mean, just because they're a small community doesn't mean it's gonna cost them that much less to put one up. It costs them the same dollars to put up a baseball diamond as it does Decorah.
But the
So I
money,
mean, but you go by the population, that's not fair. Because if they gotta put up a ball diamond, it costs them the same as it does Decorah. They don't get a break just because they're a small community, no. They gotta pay the same thing for everybody that we do to put something up.
I don't think that any of the communities that we've talked to are prioritizing ball diamonds right now.
I know, but anything they put up, it doesn't matter if it's a pickleball court, it's gonna cost them exactly the same as it does Decorah.
The difference is Decorah is actually pursuing state funding to help pay for a very large tourism draw project where Fort Atkinson just completed 2 pickleball courts. And it's more recreational. They're not hosting tournaments or having clubs. I mean, they're trying to create space for their own community residents.
This is for the health of the county, on health on lots of different levels.
But it's run about 4 months out of the year, you're gonna basically, the other 8. Yeah. It's a pretty small window. What could have been out there?
And it's a pretty small amount
And-
of money, given what the cost of everything is, so.
I gotta stick with what my constituents, my calls I've gotten.
I shared emails with you that showed predominantly in support of emails that we all received. Did you get those?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm in your district, so
I
you
know,
consider.
I
this-
know, yeah, I know. But I don't have a town in this district. But
And that-
they're all unincorporated
And that's,
villages.
and that's why
That we get,
they would
Nothing.
utilize Decorah. People playing softball are coming from all over the county to play in Decorah in the leagues. It's not just
And 35
children using the summer rec leagues, it's also people playing in softball, and we had support, letter of support from Southwind Activities Director and baseball coach saying what an asset it would be to be able to have this hosted, be able to host things in the county here, and I think that shows that people from outside of Decorah also really see there's value in
I see you.
having this go through. And I,
I,
what we'd be putting in it compared to the overall potential gain is, like you said, peanuts.
not really prepared to make a decision today. If I do, I know which way it's gonna go. Not in support.
How
So
do you know that already?
so
You know that?
if I have to make a decision today,
Your own personal vote?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
that's the way. Just tell you that, that's why I wasn't in favor of putting this on the agenda for today.
They, From my understanding, the grant has to be submitted soon so they can
But
start the
that,
project.
we can't plan that way in 2 weeks. We got, if it had been 2 years ago that had come and said we could maybe work something. In 2 weeks, our budget's done for the year.
How much money is turned in at the end of the year that people don't use in their budget?
That's beside the point.
Let Ben answer that question.
It varies. I mean, if you wanted to, usually you figure that the budget amendments of small amounts, 20,000 or 25,000 is something we can cover with carryover. I mean, we wouldn't be able to cover a couple 100,000 with just carryover leftovers, but
But over a 3-year period, this is doable, and it is something we can discuss today as a board.
it's doable. I mean, you have a limited pot of money, so if you don't do this, you might want to do something else, but I don't know what that something might be. So
We're
you,
looking at this as a long-term investment. And if we were to measure the economic impact of this complex for the entire county and the money that it can create in tourism, shopping, restaurants, hotels, that's a long-term investment for this small amount we could put in for you to get the 500,000 right now. That's gonna grow exponentially over the next decades in tourism and use, and it does serve the whole county. So if for fiscal responsibility reasons alone, we should be supporting this in some way, shape, or form so they can secure that grant and get this complex built so we can then get that tourism money in the long run. Whether you use it or not, you're gonna get money from it as a county.
I'm willing to consider it if we can do it into next year's budget. But like I said, at this point, I'm not gonna take a final vote.
But no. The calls I've had, everyone, all but one.
Mark, I could sit here and say I got 100 calls in support of it. There's no proof of that.
I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it, Shirley. Good
Well,
gosh, I've had 28 calls. 1 was for it and 27 against it. I'm not gonna sit here and make stuff up. I don't have to do that. Good
The
gosh.
emails were predominantly in
I don't
support
monkey
of
with
it.
emails. I know that, no. Been down that road.
They're signed. They're legitimate emails. They're not.
I don't know, where are you at? Steve?
People on the street talking.
I get very little support. The strong, maybe one of the stronger comments came from the mayor of Calmer, who said, you give money to the city of Decorah, then I'm gonna be standing there first in line for my check.
And it's
That's-
here.
Excuse me, Shirley. And so those are the kind of comments that I get. I have 5 incorporated cities in my district of the 8. And every one of them struggles with their tax base. They're like, none of them have, with the exception of Fort Atkinson, have any grocery stores at all. Everybody has to come to Decorah because we've become a commuter county that is agriculturally supported because that's our major industry. So yes, we have tourism, but how much of tourism dollars goes back to those five cities? They don't get it in hotel revenue for businesses that they have. All of their businesses, for the most part, continue to evaporate out of their towns, with the exception of things that are ag related, whether it's an ag business or a co-op or things of that nature. That's where their bulk of their revenue comes from. Yes, they do get some local option sales tax. They do get some hotel motel tax, but the majority of all of that goes to the big dog of the population. And part of that is reinforced on a per capita basis by the student population, because that's the way the federal law was written. So that all of those students at Luther College do not pay taxes. Luther College does not pay taxes. All the revenue disbursements are based on their population. And we don't have colleges or other schools that are included in population in the majority of those other cities. There may be an impact of some degree on Calmer, but I'm not even sure if that's the case as a community college because they're not residents there. So it's a very, my folks, they have all, like Dan says, they've raised their own money to build everything of their own. This is all taxpayer dollars, whether it is state grant, federal grant, or county grant. with the exception of what is being donated by the businesses. Yes, they've got a lot of business donors in Decorah. I don't know if there's any business donors outside of Decorah or if these are county residents that are primarily involved with athletics. But of 51 people out of, let's say, 12,000 people out of the county, that's a pretty small number. So I'm not warm and furry all about it. Yes, I know that it's needed to have support, but it's not a simple thing for people that live in the country that don't see Decorah the same way as most of the folks in this room who live here see it.
But how many of the residents that live outside of Decorah work in Decorah and depend on Decorah for their livelihood? I mean, you
There's-
want to keep Decorah strong. I'm not saying it is what it is. People quit shopping locally, it's gone.
They're not going to quit shopping locally, Mark, because they don't have options anymore. They used to have many town grocery stores. They used to have more filling stations. They had a lot of other businesses within the towns. But as things have changed and we've become a commuter society, you look at the traffic on 52 or 9.
People
We
make
have,
choices.
yeah, we have people that come from Almaquee County. We have people that come from Fayette County. We have people that come from Howard County to work in the businesses that are in downtown, inside of the realm of Decorah. All of those, many of those people live in far removed than here, and they're going home at night. All of that happens. I understand that, Mark.
Do you understand the economic impact of Luther College on Winneshiek County?
It has an impact. I
It's
know that surely.
huge. It's huge.
It's not
And
any
they don't
more
all
than,
live in Decorah, they live
We're
rural
getting a little
county.
off base here.
Well, it's all part of the bigger picture that we need to be taking into consideration here.
I will make up my decision by next week, so we can just put it on the agenda for next week, Ben. Because I'm hearing a no, no, I'm hearing a yes, yes. So with all due respect, give me another week. All right, next item on the agenda, Jeff Kuboushek, our recycling supervisor with some department updates. Good morning, Jeff. All right, sorry for your, that's all right.
Thank you.
Good morning. Well, I'll get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation.
How about the gravy?
Well, we can add that later. This is with the Hesper site, we had discontinued that up there. And we have an advisory committee. There's 5 of us. And that pertains to myself and Evan, TJ with landfill, and then Steve and Mark. We meet every month, 6 weeks. Just go over things that come up, things to improve or look at to improve what we need to work on, and Hesper come up. So we decided to discontinue that with dumpsters up there. It's roughly about 7 miles from Locust to Hesper. And a lot of the residents in Hesper, out of, there's about 30, roughly 34 that are registered users of the rural waste at the Locust site. So that was part of our decision also financially. I mean, obviously was the biggest part of it. But you're looking at about 60% of the people come there to drop their garbage off. Well, we have the dumpsters right there, so.
You're talking about recycling bins.
Recycling bins, yes, and then the rural waste is there, and that's 10 times a month that they can come up there to get rid of their rural waste. Hesper site was not probably the cleanest of the sites as far as contamination. Was another part of it. And like I said, it didn't mean to.
Explain, Jeff, please explain what you mean by contamination.
Well, as far as people throwing stuff alongside the dumpster, when I went up there that day to put the sign up there, there was 2 cushions that obviously are not recyclable. They were removed when I went up there to get the bins, so somebody did take them out of there, but, and then as far as in the bins, you get people throw stuff inside the combo units that the cardboard isn't as bad. It's usually the plastic and tin where you get a lot of basically garbage that people throw in there. Then when we dump it into the recycling, basically we have to sort through it, or whatever we don't get, then it gets to the sort line and then they take it and then throw it in a dumpster and then we end up paying for it. And it goes to landfill at the end of the day, or not the end of the day, the next morning, because they come and pick it up early in the morning, but we initially end up paying for that. So it's unfortunate. And there's some other sites too that, you know, people throw stuff in. I'm not gonna get into detail, but it's time consuming for us just because we have to go through it. And at the end of the day, we have probably 5 to 6 dumpsters that they have to pick up in the morning to dump of garbage. That's probably, well, that's 5 days a week. 4 to 6, it just kind of depends on the day, but like I said, there's styrofoam people throw in there. There's actually find people's garbage. They tuck it in there. Vinyl siding. So,
And I suppose people are trying to put that as plastic.
yeah, and the plastic we want is not, you know, that plastic.
That was not recyclable.
Vinyl siding doesn't come with the little triangle.
No, but it's easy to throw in the slot because it's flat and fits in there pretty good.
So just a reminder to the community online and whoever watches this, winneshiekwaste.org
Yep.
is where they can find out what is recyclable in our county and what is not.
You know, and as far as a lot of people too, if they have metal, we find a lot of metal in the bins also, which we'll gladly take, but they throw them in the plastic and tin combo, we call them. Then we have to dig it out of there to put it into a separate bin. So that's, I mean, we'll gladly take it, but if nothing else, if they come to Decorah, bring it to Decorah, because we got 3 bins specifically in our drop area that we take, like
Scrap metal.
yes, because we find a lot of,
Well, frying pan or
Oh,
whatever
it's-
it is.
it's all over.
Bicycle or something.
Yeah.
Put it in
Well,
there.
Yeah.
You know, people might get that wrong because it does say plastic and metal.
Right,
Right.
right.
Say.
Yeah, and we do have some stickers. That's my other thing is we have right now 63 bins. And there's a fair amount of maintenance that we need to do on these bins. A lot of them, we actually just went through last week and numbered them all, so they're all accounted for. And we're gonna start to take inventory.
And then, you know, the maintenance,
Wheels.
each one.
Yes, and I got prices to fix, because when the wheels don't turn, they don't load very good, and then they get twisted on there, and it's kind of a safety hazard, because all of a sudden it comes on the track, up the truck wrong. Well, you gotta stop and try and reposition, and it's a lot easier when the wheels turn, and there's a fair amount of them that do not turn. So there's a lot of maintenance that we need to do on these to make it better. And then I've been pricing
Repainting.
floors, repainting some, sandblasting. Our goal probably for this fall is to get the wheels fixed, because the bad thing with that is it's a lot easier when the wheels turn, because it comes to the truck instead of drags. And then we got a 6-inch rut. And every time you come to pick that bin up, it's not level and it causes issues, and it personally looks like hell anyway. So that's kind of the priority right now, is to get them wheels, and we'll probably have to wait till next year to get some sandblasting, and some of them need some liners. I've been pricing, actually just got off the phone with plastic to put liners, kind of like the county road department does with the trucks, but thinner. And I kind of like that idea, because there's some of them that the floors are pretty much shot. We had to pull one out of service here a couple weeks ago, just because you lift it up and you were losing stuff out the bottom. And so TJ had a light liner that we put in there just to get by for now, and it's really light. But we are using it, and it works for now. But I think long term, we priced a 1/4-inch plastic, and I think that's going to be what we're going to be looking at to put in.
Jeff, how often were we servicing Hesper with recycle?
It would be every other week. We would go up there and pick a bin, and the bad thing is we drive up there, and so you're almost kind of committed to, you either pick one up or so if it's half full, what do? Do you take it or do you leave it? So, you don't want to drive all the way up there and then, I'll just wait. So one week we would take the cardboard, then the following week we would take plastic and tin, and kind of flip-flop is kind of the way we ran it.
For the most part, it might be a 1/4 full in some areas and half full at the most on other areas.
Right.
We're hauling air.
So we're trying to be a little more
Efficient.
yes, basically.
And they have 6 days a month where they take their rural waste to the Locust Road corner.
10,
Or 10, excuse me, 10. I was thinking 6 more than.
because it's Monday, every Monday, Wednesday,
Half a day.
and then the first and third Friday.
So 10 days a month where they
Yeah.
go to rural waste.
Yeah. So that was kind of a factor as well, is why we leaned on. And there was a couple of other changes with bins that we'd taken out of businesses that we basically needed them elsewhere. We used to have people come in on the weekends at recycling to do cardboard and clean out the drops. So then we added a cardboard bin there. We took another one out of the business and brought that. So I know change. He likes change. Like I said, we sure didn't do it to upset the apple cart. We're.
A heads up ahead though would be nice. Because
Yeah.
all of a sudden I'm getting emails and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
The sign went up 2 weeks previous.
Yeah, we did put a sign up there.
But there are 5 of them.
Right, but we don't micromanage any of our other departments. That's why when Mark and I were, you assigned us to that board, that we've been down there to work through the economics because of the budget issues that we were facing with this department. So I think, he made a prudent decision as a manager. We didn't make that decision for him, but we were a part of it. It would be, the fault would then lie with us as a committee, not.
I'm not saying it was a
or
poor decision. Just like to have knowledge of it when something like that's gonna happen.
Well, then we'll do that as a committee, because I think what we're still doing, I think Jeff would say that I think the additional input helps him in his managing of the department. Coming in, we've got a lot of maintenance issues and things that we've addressed.
Maybe after each of your advisory committee meetings, just a blurb summary to send to the supervisors at email so that the rest of them know what you decided. Not that they're supposed to weigh in on it.
Give us a little bit of.
Shouldn't reply to it, just to let them know what's going on.
Or in committee reports that we have on the agenda every week, we
Yeah.
could be reporting them.
And we could do that because we do have a meeting coming up in a couple weeks. So
Next week, actually. Jeff, would you clarify, some people, I think, took a misunderstanding of what decision was made out on a couple of the bins at Luther College. Would you give a little background on that and
Yep.
what happened?
we had discussions with them, earlier, and that was, I did an article with Zach too, there was a rumor going around that we weren't servicing Luther anymore, and that was totally false. We have many bins up there, and there was 2 sites, that we had discussions with them that we felt were not safe. We had to back down basically a sidewalk and jump over curbs to get to them. So we made the decision and reached out to them and told them that we'll service the other ones, but we will not do them any longer. We brought them back there. But them are the only 2, and we have, right now, there is 8. We have 10 total. So we service 8 of them right now.
But we haven't, they're still being serviced. But they've
Yeah.
gone to a contract
Yep,
hauler
yep.
who's willing
A
to do that.
contractor come in and is hauling that
And we
for
gave
them.
them the option if they would put them on a hard surface that we
Yep.
just safely back into.
We had a couple of
We can do it.
ideas for them, and they just said it didn't really work out. So then they had the contractor, because they actually just came in, the contractor did last week with them bins on, so.
So they're paying a contractor to haul your bins.
Them,
to-
yeah.
Two of the
Two.
10.
Yes.
They're bins, the ones with the swap grant bins.
So
Are they the county's bins though?
that's a good question, because we have,
There's no
They were-
paperwork.
we-
Some of those.
to this day, we've been looking and we haven't found out that there is 10 bins. That we have 53 right now, then plus the 10 is the 63 at Luther, but for the life of me, I cannot
Do you have a
find.
conversation with Scott or Terry?
Scott, I did, and he claims that them bins are theirs. Cause a lot of them are the triple bins. And we do not have any of the triple bins, so basically you have cardboard, and then you have a paper, and then you have the plastic and tin. We don't own any of them, the only ones we have is either a straight cardboard or, we do have a straight combo that is the full length of the bin for plastic and tin. There's a few of them, but most of them are the combo with the paper in the back and then the plastic and tin up front.
Some of the bins were through swap grants that were purchased, so the feeling, I think, was that institutions have helped apply for the swap grants are the ones that own the bins.
Okay.
Well, that comes back to Hesper. Did you check that one down? The grant for the bins in Hesper, was the grant for rural waste in general or specifically the bins in Hesper?
In general. is
In
what-
general, that's,
And that isn't
Good to
rural
know.
waste. You're
It's
talking
not
about
road waste, that's
recycling.
recycling.
You know,
but the swap grants, if I remember right, it was the DNR backed.
cause
And
these.
the language talked about rural waste meaning recycling too.
For
in general.
rural recycling.
Okay.
Rural recycling.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's important that the public understand, we do have rural waste budget and recycling budget, and they're not the same thing. By merging them, on the decision, we haul the rural waste now, it kind of saves us the recycling money.
Yeah. And saves.
it also saves
for
county
us.
money on the rural waste end of it.
Yeah. And the glass too, we haul, before it was hauled, I believe, every 2 weeks. Contractor come in and hauled it. Now we haul it when it's full.
Full.
So, or close to full, I mean, but we can monitor it closely instead of paying contractor twice a month for hauling a half full. So that
That was
was,
something that may only be done.
Right, and right now, it's about probably once, I would say, we haul them at least once a month. We haul glass out there, at least. We do get quite a bit of that in. One thing,
We get paid from
yes,
landfill.
yep. The one thing we did find with aluminum, we have a buyer and it's been working out. We've done it a month now, and just last month, we had, these are cans, and we made just over $1,900 just from last month. So additional on top of that. So it was kind of, we're getting paid, up 12 a pound. And originally we were getting 70 cents. So that was another avenue that, and we did basically, and this is from the sort line, sorts them. And the sort line does, they work 4 days a week. So in a month, when you got four weeks, so in August, we did 12. Basically, we had cans on 12 out of the 16 days. And we had 182 bags of cans, and it was 1,703 pounds that we turned in.
You said $12 a pound?
About 12.
Buck 12.
That was getting down.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I didn't think that sounded right.
So that was a pretty nice increase. We weigh everything, and then the thing with the cans, the good thing is when he gets them, then he sorts, basically goes through them, and then whatever he cannot turn in, he ends up giving them back to
So
us.
he's paying you $1.12 and taking out the 5-cent redeemable.
Yep.
And returning the non-redeemable.
Yeah. Because you think that most of them are redeemable, but and the sort line would never, they would never know which ones. It's pretty tough to know which ones, and the guy even said some of these are supposed to be paid out, but he knows that they won't. But the nice thing is we get them back, and then we can bail them with our aluminum, so it's kind of a win-win. But for a month, out of the 12 times, we thought that's pretty nice, pretty nice increase just for, and we're always looking at avenues to try to, obviously, more money we can make. The only downfall, and I hate to bring it up, but the TVs, we had a pretty nice deal on that where the TVs were taken for nothing, and we were looking at probably a $10,000 savings, and I just got a call on late Thursday, that we're gonna start getting charged $0.25 a pound on TVs, so unfortunately. So the other company that we changed from, we were renting a trailer. So the only thing there is we're not renting a trailer, we throw them in Gaylords, and then send them out. So that was like $1,200 a year, because we were getting charged $100 a month for trailer rent to sit there. But he said basically it's from the tariffs, is what he said, that when they demanufacture them and they have all the plastic, all that plastic has to be exported. And then he said that with the tariff prices, he said that they have to start charging. And he said that was effective Thursday when I talked to
The
him.
plastic has to be exported.
That's what he told me on the phone. So,
Creative plastic, that's,
Yeah.
you don't do it here.
so that's hate to be a Debbie Downer, but that was,
Do people drop TVs off for free right now?
no,
What do we charge?
$20.
So could we raise that fee to make up that difference? If
We're
the
still-
public knows it's costing us more to do it, I think it's okay to look at fee changes.
But we're still making
Yeah,
some money.
we should be, I think we'll still be ahead on it. And I almost hate to get too much more, because then all of a sudden it ends up in the ditch.
Right.
And people are,
Over the cliff at Palisades.
yeah, find the deepest ditch. And so, the $20 I think is reasonable. Most people know that when they come there, and we get a fair amount of TVs. The good thing is, a lot of them are the flat screens, so they are lighter. We still do get some of them big old heavy devils, but most of them are the flat screens and computer monitors, but so.
It'd be great if the United States could do cradle to grave like Germany does on all appliances like this. Manufacturers cover that.
And we can continue looking to see if something else is available. We're always looking at different avenues, so.
Remember, the differences that we charge versus what we receive is simply that that's our handling cost of all of our labor out there and equipment, everything else. It has to continue to process those, get them gone and out of our landfill. The bottom line is
Yeah.
saving the landfill space.
And the ditches, I agree.
And I want to thank you guys too for allowing us to have a new hire who's been excellent. That's very, very, very good worker. He's got good ideas. He's actually come up with, he likes things clean and tidy, and I said, so do I. So we get along
Nothing wrong with that.
very good, and we're still clean, and we got a ways, but we still have more to do. But yeah, I just wanted to put a shout out to Al's been very, very good. Like I said,
It's worthy for me to see what's happening down there recycling. It's really
it's
doing well.
it's coming around. I saw it's good. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Steve Zittergruen, Nielsen.
I think Andy was hoping you could do him real quick.
Oh, I could be good.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Hold on. All right. What do you got for us?
First, can we do applause for the work?
You need to applaud for the investigators. That was, Webker testified that it was, had no stone left unturned. He was right. It was tremendous job that those guys did in case they put together.
Next week, we'll all have an opportunity to learn more about how that all happened. It's on the agenda first thing for next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. I really don't have anything for you. I'm still digging out. I may have something, but I haven't found it yet. I did get an email off to you on the 2080 for CSS this morning. I did look at that. I think there's a piece of that we're missing yet, but I also, I'm not sure how much of it is county liability and how much of it is reserve funds that CSS had to pay off. I mean, when you wind down an entity, you have to pay the obligations that predate the July 1 termination. So not all of those have been billed, is my understanding, and some of that is still coming in. And then you also have staffing and accounting and other issues that are ongoing through the wind down process. So there should have been a report from the region to HHS by April 1st. I haven't seen that. I don't know if you have, but that would be something that could probably give us some idea of how long this process is going to take. Chickasaw County did do a termination or withdraw from it. I think that would be fine. As long as you understand that may not be a complete release of our responsibility.
They're having a hard time with the new organization. If organization, you have to pay those bills. Well, typically all the bills on a normal cycle would be submitted by the end of September, and that's the cutoff. Can't have anything after that. But they want us to turn money in over before potentially all those bills were paid. They said, well, you're gonna have to do that. So there's a potential to look at it that the counties are gonna be on the hook for anything that comes in.
And that's
And
where,
that is wrong because there's several $1 million sitting there.
yeah, I think we should, if you can get a copy of the report on the wind down, that should give us some idea of what the actual intent is.
The state will be up here to deal with the electronics in the courtroom the week ending the 29th, and so we'll be back in there for that week. It's all arranged with the judicial department for the rest of the carpet in the front part of the courtroom, the repaint and the electrical changes, and then they'll put everything back together. So it's all been arranged through the state on that, and everybody upstairs is aware of it.
Back half of the courtroom got rave reviews from the people who hadn't been there since the last murder trial. So if that's any consolation, the change was noticeable.
Yeah, everything is noticeable.
Oh, I suppose we'll put the land lease up, put that in the agenda, or whatever, put it out there here.
For the farmland.
Farmland out at Freeport.
And I think typically you guys just advertise it.
Yeah.
And we do it as a 3-year lease, so there's no public hearing or anything on it. It's just, get your bid date and see what comes in.
Getting out there, so you guys know.
What's that?
The land you rent out.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years is up, so we gotta get it. Put it out there here.
Is that a public notice you put in the paper?
Yeah, it should be.
I think you prepared the public notice in the past, but I can maybe find the last one and just.
I'll see if I can dig it out.
Put it
I'll
out
shoot an
there.
email of it anyway.
Okay.
Because I mean, the description of the property has changed since
That's true.
the last time it was published, I'm guessing. Because it would take some of that off up by the water tower.
That would have been,
That was separate anyway, I
yeah,
think.
that was separate, yeah, that was separate.
That one
Let's I'll take the notice, I'll take the description for the notice off the last lease because we amended that lease. I can't remember where.
Whether it
well, we
was the
took out
fire
some
training
property.
land at the fire
Yeah.
training or the land we sold over by the recycling or, and I know we had separated the up above one before because that one, that's in, we did a public hearing because they signed it into CRP.
Yes, okay.
But yeah. if you-
Short answer is I'll find it for you. I'll get it to you.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
I have nothing.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Cindy. All right, we're back up here and the solar project at Pantry Services Building.
Thank you for waiting, you guys.
Good morning, guys. Apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Almost made it. This was when we talked about the solar on the main service building and the firing. He had already inquired with Harry Novak about the potential for this and so.
So a little bit about it. So it would be through what's called a PPA or a power purchase agreement. And what that means is you have an investor that owns it. Did the same thing for the city. The campground one, the city street building is that way. What it does is allows the investor to go after grants, tax credits, depreciation that the county can't get. So by grabbing those things, it brings the cost of the system down, which allows the investor to sell you the power at a reduced rate. And so, these guys came to me a few weeks ago, like, hey, can we do something on this building? Did some research on the bills, looked through them, see what you were paying now. And then kind of did a rough design of what it would look like. Look at the back, that's what that is. There's a couple panels in there that'll maybe shift because there's an exhaust fan on there and stuff. We'll have to take a panel out for it. But it's a closed design. Currently you guys are spending around $26,000 for that building. And buying power at a discount from a investor, you'd spend about 15. If we get the grant. If we don't get the grant, that's gonna go up just a little bit because they're gonna charge us a little more per kilowatt. But the intention is to go after the grant and the other credits are locked in. System has panels have a 30-year warranty, inverters start with a 10-year warranty. We cover the system for the first 5 years. This system is written with a PPA that has the ability to continue for 25 years or the ability to purchase it or give part of it or all of it at some point. I know I have a local investor that's interested in the project that would potentially gift part of it, if not all of it, down the road. So needs to see how that return is, 8-10 years from now.
And this is asking the county for zero
Yeah, there's no upfront cost to the county.
Loss.
You are,
savings.
yep, you are on the hook for allowing them to use the building. And then if for some reason it's not producing, right, if an inverter goes down, you're gonna buy power from Alliance just like you normally do.
What would the cost of this project be if the county wants to pay for it?
Roughly 300.
So we could, how soon could the county, if they wanted to buy it back?
Minimum of 7 years. Anything before that, the investor runs the risk of penalty from
Yeah.
tax credits and stuff like that.
7.
And so 7 years is kind of the minimum.
And the other concern that people expressed was the ability of the structure to carry the panels.
And we check with CBS build that, and Martin Gardner. Before we put it on, we'll verify the roof, take a load. Never had a roof mount not be able to do. The difference between this, I'm just working, we're doing the same thing in Maaten for this, for the wellness center. And somebody brought up there, they couldn't put the air handlers on the roof. Well, the difference between an air handler sitting on a roof and solar panels is this is distributed. And so it only adds about 4 pounds per square foot. So it looks like it's a lot of weight, but it's distributed throughout the whole roof ballast system. And so, never say never, but I've yet to have a system that we couldn't do because the roof wouldn't take the support. But we would check with Martin Gardner. Upon approval, we'd work with them to make sure everything's good. So probably the biggest hurdle right now, obviously working with you guys and then working with the investor to be ready. There's a grant cycle that's going to open in October. And I'd like to get them in earlier than that. Like we don't want to wait till December to put in because they are date stamped. And so the first ones get approved first. And so the sooner we can commit to doing it, then the sooner we get that grant process started with the investor. So
Having a metal roof probably minimizes the chance.
yeah, so it's actually it's a standing seam roof, which if this is the seam on that roof, yep. So then we actually attach that ridge. We don't penetrate the roof at all.
So this is,
The only penetration would be where we come in to tie into your surface. We'll put a rubber boot in and have to penetrate
So
there.
this is the ideal setup.
Yeah, it is. It's perfect. Like I said, the nice thing with standing seam is we don't penetrate anywhere other than a roof penetration for the connection point.
One of the biggest things I see is that to make your deadline as soon as you can, because we'd be basically signing an agreement for more than 3 years to use this roof, that we're gonna have to have a public hearing, which means we're gonna have to publish. And
The initial process would be, so we have a notice of intent to move forward that would suffice initially for the
for the grant.
Okay. They're gonna want a copy of the power purchase agreement before they award it. But that says you're planning on moving forward. Then we work with the investor to solidify who that is. Then we could have the board approve the PPA, in a month or something.
Is there a buyout at 7 years?
There potentially is, yeah. I mean, you just work with the investor and you guys at that point, if you wanted to buy it or whether that's 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, you know what I mean? That depends on what you guys want and then what they've been able to secure for a return on investment. They may gift part of it. And so.
What I like about this is it's another project that's looking at long-term gain for the county. It's a bigger picture. $11,000 a year after year is significant. It's working. Mark, if you want to speak to the Upper Explorerland Regional Planning Building, that's worked really well for reducing their bills.
And it's not $11,000 year after year. What we know at the city, what we've experienced at the campground is that after the city ends up taking possession of that, whether in 7 or 20 or 15 or whatever years, like it's more savings for as long as the solar panels last. You told me that solar panels often, you can't count on them the last 50 years, you can count 20.
Yeah, 30-year warranty and the average life of a panel anymore is 40 years. What they're saying, no, so the inverters at some point you'll have to replace, but that's years down the road. It's not 5
That's
years.
not on us.
No, if that's still in the PPA, the investors are in charge of maintaining and running the system.
Did you do the system that was put into Calmer for the city?
Well, kind of. I helped Mars sell it because Marv Smith did that, the 6 or 7 sites. But it's the same concept.
You are Marv Smith.
Yeah, somewhat when it comes to that part of it. Yeah, we've done this all over the state. I have some cities out there that don't intend to buy it. They'll let it sit for 25 years if they can. I have some, like we did the school in West Union. They've been on me since the second year. How soon can I buy it? How soon can I buy it? They've got to have it long enough to not have any tax credit penalty. And so it just depends on the entity. Some people are content with some savings. Some people set that savings aside to be able to purchase it. It just depends on every situation is different.
So even if we never buy it, we're still just saving.
You're saving every year.
Every year.
Yep.
So this,
The rate does go up over time to offset the cost, but you're still saving every year. Yep.
so the overall cost of this project or this large of an array is you say about 300,000,
Around 300.
and we were about 100. How much was it? Recycle
115 or
115.
Yeah.
Did we ever get that money?
We have not gotten the money yet, although I've been working with Kevin and we're getting closer. There's a lot of bureaucracy and paperwork associated with it to get the money.
I haven't spent about 6 weeks trying to track down the person at the IRS that could help us figure out how to get it.
The real process.
Actually got to talk to a real person.
We got to the point where we were sure we knew what we were doing. He came up, we sat at my computer, tried to enter it over and over again, it wouldn't work, so he went back to the calling board, come and contacted me about 2 weeks later and figured out the problem was that we were when instead of Winneshiek County, it was supposed to be county, comma, of Winneshiek or something like that. So it wasn't finding us in the IRS database, so that was a big to-do. Yeah.
One of the best things about doing it this way is that project management, those little details. I mean, a lot of it falls on Novak, a lot of it falls on the investor who owns the system until those grants are secured and the checks are cashed by them.
We do have
It's attractive, I hope to you, that you don't have to do anything except for commit to this.
We do have some nonprofits that have done it where they grab the taxes. It's a process. So it just depends. This takes everything out of your budget. You
That was
don't
a
have to come up with
big
it.
process, so yeah.
Is there, say there's a problem with in the roof, who pays for the cost of decommissioning?
You guys would if you'd have to replace that roof, but being it's metal and we're gonna cover it. I mean, you could have somebody verify the roof doesn't need any maintenance. If it was a rubber roof that we're gonna put solar on, I would request, almost mandate, that you would have somebody come check the seams. But that metal one, I just can't imagine you'd have much issue.
What I do like is the filling in the roof part.
Yeah,
Yeah, the standing seam roof there.
they're the best. I wish everybody put them on. Cause it just, we don't have to worry about, I don't have to worry about 5 years to know if there's a leak or nothing. So.
Do we gotta move any vents, ventilation that's already in?
No, that's what I said, this size is real close. You know, if there's one big vent, I'll take a panel out for that. I might be able to shift a few panels off of this roof onto the bottom row over here. So it's gonna be real close. I mean, I'm within 10 panels, one way or the other. So it's not exact, but it's
Don't wanna
close.
be moving nothing.
No, we'll shift that around.
Getting all the leaks.
Yep, no, and you guys would have time to have somebody look at the roof, because this is definitely a next summer to fall project. We're that far between everything else. So the biggest hurdle here is if we can get worked with, I do have an investor that's expressed interest in it, and we can work with them to get that grant started and get it time stamped as soon as possible. Would be the biggest hurdle.
The next step would be to have the next week or two, this letter of intent to continue, to intent to proceed or whatever. Okay.
I could have that today.
Do we need a motion?
I think you want to have that letter of intent on the agenda, but that gives you time to think about it and them to prepare and send the letter. And so if he gets it to me later today, by next Monday, we can have it on the agenda for action.
And I think the food pantry can probably step back at this point. We don't need to be part of the process anymore. We wanted to bring this as a possibility for you all to consider because we care about this building working for the long term, not just for the short term. But if it helps you all as your biggest electricity user in the building, just know that we are committed to being there for the long term if you're willing to have us. It's a great facility for us. And so don't worry that you're going to put these panels up and then we're going to duck out of town or anything. We want to be there serving the community in your building for a long time. So I think this is a great idea that sounds like it's gonna save you all some money right away. So we approve it. If there's something else the food pantry can do to make you feel more confident about moving forward. At the end of 7 years, if you're looking to buy the panels out, maybe we could do a joint fundraiser. Some people like to write checks to the food pantry more than they do the county. So you,
Twice a year, they don't like it.
yeah. Just want to thank you all for considering the opportunity from the food pantry, and I'm going to let John take over from here for sure.
Appreciate the effort.
From our standpoint, all I ask is if I email that to Ben today, what I typically ask the board to do is to appoint either the director or whoever to be my point of contact from that point on. And the simple part from that point is we work on the draft of the PPA, give a chance for Andy to review it if he has any changes or wordings, and it's fairly simple at that point.
Who's the supervisor on the CSB building? Okay, so he'd probably be your point of contact.
I would say check with the insurance company too, see where they are.
You don't insure it, the investor does. The investor.
No, I mean, as far as our building, the structure, if they have a snow load.
Yeah, that's what I'll get from Mark.
This, we get snow load.
Martin.
Yeah, that'd be the big thing. Picking up our rate or so, I mean, yeah. That'd be one of the questions.
Would you check on that?
Thank you for coming. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Committee reports?
Well, Andy stole my thunder, but CSS had a meeting last Wednesday. And we're again going heads up on maybe doing the termination of the 2080. Problem has been just not forthcoming information from HHS on. I don't know if they know how to proceed with the process. And there was no guidance from them on how to close down all of these different regions. So.
Do you want to share with everybody where the office is located in our county to connect with the new regional office for care? It's over at the old Walmart building, over at the old Veterans Clinic area.
Veterans Clinic, yeah, is where the new person is, not every day, but does have an office for this new district. It is now under HHS. It used to be CSS. So they're basically
The Human Services
Oh,
Office.
so we the counties had put money into this thing, and that money's getting turned over. But going back to counties into this new entity, I guess we'll call it. So when that happens, and who's going to pay the bills, they're still wanting us to pay the bills, even though we really don't exist. So
Sounds fair. Not so much.
On that land lease, you'll get that paper, then I can, if anybody's interested, I can just tell them stuff up.
Yeah, not yet, though. I gotta get it from,
Gotta wait.
get from Andy and.
Okay.
Legal description, correct?
Yeah, we get all the paperwork in order. I don't know how long that might be. I mean, we'll have to set a public hearing. I know we won't set a public hearing. We'll just have to choose a date, so.
Yeah.
It has to be published, so.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Move to adjourn.
second.
Motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
What kind of an oil leak I have?
Good night.
Also, yeah.
I like this solar panel idea way better than the one where we did it and have to apply for the. That has been a nice.
Oh, you got all that experience,
Evan,
Ben.
that's right. Evan is going to be the point man now.
Hypothetically.
if you all want to reach out to city staff, Mark or Travis, I'm sure they have perspective on what it was like to work with Novak. They're pretty great.
And then they just send out some. I'll say, yeah, thanks for browser. There's no set schedule. We try to do one every year. Yeah.
So I'll just keep my ears open.
Yep, and we'll talk about it here if we get anything.
That.
It's interesting. It is.
It gives or understanding.
There's some conversation right now.
I know that we looked at it for solar, and I think the roof concern, the thing that we identified as the biggest problem, I'm sure that we're. Doesn't have a good roof.
Not every.
How many board members are there?
There's still 3 people.
There's still too many, Fatima. Okay, now that we're down to 1, 2 maybe.
Yeah. Cool.